7 places that are legal to hunt people. Welcome back, everyone. Here today we're going to be talking about some places where people can legally hunt other people. This is an interesting topic that I wanted to explore because there are certain areas around the globe where hunting humans is completely legal and accepted as a normal practice. Now, I'm not condoning or supporting this activity at all. I just thought it was fascinating to learn about these places. I wanted to share my findings with you. So if you're interested in learning more about this controversial subject matter, then stay tuned. But a fair warning before we begin. Some of these locations may be triggering for some viewers due to the graphic nature of the content. Viewer discretion is advised. Number 7, New Guinea. Our first location is the beautiful yet dangerous island of New Guinea. Located in Oceania between Australia and Indonesia, New Guinea is a remote and rugged place inhabited by several indigenous tribes. One of the most well-known tribes is the Dani tribe, who are known for their unique lifestyle and traditions. They live in the Balian Valley in the central highlands of Papua New Guinea, where they practice a form of hunting that involves not just animals, but also humans. The Dani tribe has a long history of headhunting, and they have a particular animosity towards the neighboring Lani tribe. This conflict has resulted in countless deaths over the years, and it's still ongoing today. In fact, it's common for members of the Dani tribe to carry weapons like bows and arrows, spears, and knives for protection against rival tribes. The Lani tribe also practices a similar lifestyle, and they too have their own reasons for hunting other humans. It's important to note that this tribal warfare is not sanctioned by the government of Papua New Guinea and is considered illegal by modern standards. However, due to the remote location of these tribes, it's difficult for authorities to intervene and stop the practice. The terrain is so dense and hard to reach that it's almost impossible for outsiders to even find these villages, and therefore the killings continue. If you want to learn more about the Dani tribe and their way of life, I highly recommend watching the documentary The Last of the Mohicans, which features the Dani tribe and their hunting practices. It's a fascinating and eye-opening look into a different way of life, but be warned it's quite graphic and may not be suitable for everyone. Number 6, Russia. Russia is a huge country spanning across Eastern Europe and Northern Asia, and it's home to a wide variety of people and cultures. In some parts of Russia, hunting other humans is actually legal. While it may seem shocking to us in the Western world, it's important to understand the historical context of this practice. For centuries, Russia has had a strong tradition of hunting and trapping animals for food and fur, and it's only relatively recently that hunting has been regulated by law. As a result, many rural communities in Russia still rely on hunting as a way of life, and they have the right to do so under Russian law. Of course, this doesn't justify hunting humans, but it does help us understand how such a practice could be legal in the first place. There are also cases of human hunting in Russia that are motivated by revenge or personal vendettas rather than necessity. In these cases, the victims are often targeted based on their ethnicity or sexual orientation, and the perpetrators are rarely brought to justice. This is a dark and disturbing aspect of Russian society, but it's important to be aware of it if you ever visit the country. It's also worth noting that Russia has a large uninhabited area, especially in Siberia, where people can go to hunt anything they want without being bothered by anyone. All they need to do is get a license from the local government office and pay a small fee. This may come as a surprise to many, but in Russia, there are places where human hunting is not only legal, but encouraged. These areas are typically designated as wildlife preserves, where the government wants to control the population of certain animals. In these cases, hunters are paid a fee for each animal they capture and kill, which helps to incentivize them to participate in the hunt. It's not uncommon for these hunts to target animals like wolves, bears, and deer, but in some cases, humans are also included. This may sound cruel, but it's important to remember that in Russia there's a long history of hunting, and it's deeply ingrained in the culture. What may seem barbaric to us is simply a way of life for many Russians. Number 5, Africa. Africa is a vast continent with 54 countries and a rich diversity of cultures, languages, and customs. In some parts of Africa, human hunting is still practiced as a means of survival or for traditional ceremonies. For example, in certain communities in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, hunting is an important source of protein and communities rely on it to feed themselves. Similarly, in the remote villages of Ethiopia, hunting is a part of traditional ceremonies and rituals. In these cases, human hunting is not done for sport or pleasure, but out of necessity or as a way of preserving cultural traditions. However, it's important to note that human hunting is illegal in many African countries and is often condemned by the international community. Many African countries have laws against poaching and hunting endangered species, and there are efforts underway to protect wildlife and prevent illegal hunting activities. Despite these efforts, human hunting continues in some parts of Africa. In the remote jungle markets of countries like Gabon and Cameroon, bushmeat, which is the meat of wild animals hunted in forests, is a popular food source. This bushmeat trade often involves hunting endangered species and contributes to the decline of animal populations. Moreover, there are cases of human hunting for sport or for trophies in some parts of Africa. This is often done by wealthy individuals who hire guides and trackers to help them hunt down and kill animals. This practice is highly controversial and has led to calls for tougher regulations and enforcement to protect wildlife. Overall, while human hunting is still practiced in some parts of Africa, it's important to understand the different motivations behind it. Whether it's for survival, cultural reasons, or illegal poaching, Africa is a continent facing many challenges, and illegal hunting is just one of them. Number 4, Alaska, USA. Alaska is a vast state located in the northwestern part of the United States. It's known for its stunning natural beauty and abundance of wildlife. One of the most popular activities in Alaska is hunting, which is a beloved pastime for many residents. In fact, hunting is so popular that there are designated areas in Alaska where people can legally hunt other people. This may sound shocking, but it's important to understand the context of this practice. In Alaska, there are areas designated as wildlife preserves where the government wants to control the population of certain animals. In these areas, hunters are hired to shoot and kill specific animals, often using helicopters or other aircraft to locate them. The reason for this is to protect the ecosystem and ensure that there is enough food and resources for all the animals in the preserve. However, sometimes these animals include humans. This may seem strange, but it's important to understand that in Alaska, hunting is a way of life. Many residents rely on hunting for food, and it's a deeply ingrained part of the culture. The same is true for some of the indigenous tribes in Alaska who have relied on hunting for centuries. Of course, this doesn't justify hunting humans, but it does help us understand how such a practice could be legal in the first place. Number 3, Brazil. Brazil is a massive country located in South America. It's known for its stunning natural beauty, including the Amazon rainforest, the beaches of Rio de Janeiro, and the Christ the Redeemer statue. But what many people don't know is that in some parts of Brazil, human hunting is actually legal. The Amazon rainforest in particular is home to many indigenous tribes who have lived there for centuries. These tribes have developed their own unique ways of life and have their own beliefs and customs. Some of these tribes have a tradition of hunting, and in some cases, this includes hunting humans. In general, it's important to note that human hunting is not widely practiced in Brazil, and it's certainly not legal in the country's major cities. It's mostly limited to remote areas where indigenous tribes live according to their own customs. However, in recent years, there have been some cases of human hunting outside of these tribal areas. In some cases, this has involved people being hunted down and killed for sport. In other cases, it's been done as a form of revenge or retribution. These cases are rare, but they do happen, and it's important to be aware of them if you travel to Brazil. Number 2, the Solomon Islands. The Solomon Islands are a beautiful archipelago located in the South Pacific Ocean. They're known for their crystal clear waters, lush rainforests, and diverse wildlife. However, these islands also have a dark secret. In some areas of the Solomon Islands, human hunting is legal. This may seem shocking to many, but it's important to understand the cultural context of this practice. The Solomon Islands are home to many different tribes, and each tribe has its own unique customs and traditions. Some of these tribes have a long history of hunting animals for food, and in some cases, they also hunt humans. Human hunting is not common throughout the Solomon Islands, but it does occur in certain areas, and it's important to respect the local customs and traditions. It's also important to note that human hunting in the Solomon Islands is not usually done for sport or pleasure. Instead, it's often done for more practical reasons, such as protecting the tribe from outsiders or settling disputes between tribes. Regardless of the reason, human hunting is a controversial practice, and it's not something that should be taken lightly. Number 1, the Andaman Islands. The Andaman Islands are a group of islands located in the Bay of Bengal in India. They're home to a variety of plant and animal species, many of which are found nowhere else in the world. The islands are also home to several indigenous tribes who have lived there for centuries. One of these tribes is the Sentinelese, who are known for their hostility towards outsiders. The Sentinelese tribe has a long history of attacking anyone who comes to the island, including ships that pass by in the water. They're known to use bows and arrows to attack anyone who enters their territory. Because of this, the Indian government has declared the Sentinelese tribe as a protected species, meaning that it's illegal to go near the island or to interact with the tribe in any way. This means that in effect, the Sentinelese people can hunt anyone who comes near their island. While this may seem extreme, it's important to understand the context of this practice. The Sentinelese tribe is one of the most isolated tribes in the world, and they've had very little contact with the outside world. They're extremely wary of outsiders, and they believe that anyone who comes to the island is a threat to their way of life. As a result, they have the right to defend themselves and their territory, even if it means hunting down and killing anyone who comes near them. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my others for more amazing content. See you next time.